Good evening, students. In this class, we are going to see in detail about the Unit 5 of plant pathology that deals with the antibiosis and biocontrol mycotoxins, agricultural pest management practices, and its types. And we will also deal with the case study of specific pathogens that cause specific diseases to their respective host. In case study, we will be detailing about the pathological manifestation and control measures of citrus canker, as well as the pathological manifestation, characteristic symptoms, and control measures of bacterial blight of rice, and pathological manifestation and control measures of rice blast, and the viral diseases like tobacco mosaic virus, as well as its defense mechanisms in plants, along with symptoms. And also, finally, we deal with the different types of defense mechanisms that are adapted by plants against phytopathogens. That's all. So, let me explain you about what is antibiosis and biocontrol. Both are somehow uh, a kind of synonymous term, or I can still say both are in synchrony. So, antibiosis can be defined as the antagonism resulting from the toxicity of secondary metabolites that are produced by one organism towards other microorganisms. Whereas biocontrol can simply be defined as the control of the growth of any insect or even the microbial pest by using a biological agent or the whole living organism, otherwise called whole living organism, or sometimes even the products from such biological control agents. So, in simple way, I can explain you like antibiosis is a kind of uh, mechanism that involves only the compounds or sometimes enzymes secreted towards other. Whereas in biocontrol, it is the organism that is directly involved in order to control the pathogen, or sometimes the product that are developed by the secretions from these biocontrol agents in order to control the microbial pest or the insect pests. And what about mycotoxins? Most mycotoxins are chemically stable and they survive food processings. So, mycotoxins are the toxins secreted by the pathogenic fungus, and still they are secreted by several pathogenic fungus that affects human beings as well as plants. So, there are 100 different mycotoxins so far identified, but most toxins include several varieties of aflatoxins, ochratoxins. Aflatoxin is secreted by Aspergillus flavus. Ochratoxin is secreted by Aspergillus ochraceus. Patulin fumonisins by Fusarium. Zearalenone as well as the nivalenol. So these are the important mycotoxins that cause injury to human health, livestock, as well as to the plants. So livestock, when they consume the infected plants, they also acquire the toxin, and there will be some abdominal discomfort in the livestock, and also the same yellow, because these toxins accumulate in one organism, and the predator or the consuming organism, it can be a human or animal, that may acquire the toxin at a subnormal level, and they also exhibit symptoms as well as they also face the illness. So these are mycotoxins, they survive food processing, they are chemically stable for longer period, even if we cook the food, we still can find these toxins to be stable for a certain period of time. And after consumption, the organism will develop all the symptoms that are resulting from the consumption of this toxin. And what are all the agricultural pest management practice? So it is the term called pest management because the agricultural pests are developing resistance over developed antibiotics or even several biocontrol agents. It is a new strategy that people start managing the disease instead of completely controlling it. So under that, we have several practices to manage the disease that is caused by pest. So initially, it starts with cultural practice. Cultural methods of pest control consists of regular farm operations in such a way which either destroy the pest or prevent them from causing economic losses. So it is the way that we are going to culture the plants in a way to avoid the incidents or the multiplication of the pest, just to prevent the economic loss, serious economic loss. Various cultural practices are given below. Preparation of certain nurseries or main fields free from pest infestation by removing the plant debris, trimming the bunds, treating of soil, and deep summer ploughing, which kills various stages of the pest. So during the summer, they go for ploughing the field as well as treating the soil with heat, high heat, or sometimes with certain toxic fumes that can still reduce the incidence of the pest, and removing the debris because in dead material, infected dead material, we find pathogens to be still multiplying, and it is the house for delivery of that particular pathogen to new host. And testing of the soil for nutrient deficiency on the basis of which fertilizers should be applied. So it should not be an overdose of fertilizer, it should not be a subnormal level of fertilizer. We have to test the soil for the type of nutrient deficiency, and accordingly we choose fertilizer to apply at appropriate time, appropriate amount. Selection of the clean and certified seeds, because based on their seed vigor index, that how many seeds can be still germinated from the packet that we purchase, decides the number of plantlets that we actually are going to grow. So we have to select only the certified seeds. We have to select the clean and certified seeds, and treating these seeds with biological pesticides. If there is a chance for fungal infection, then we have to treat it with biological fungicides. Sometimes people go for chemical fungicide treatment also before showing the seed in order to control the seed borne diseases. And mechanical practice, mechanically you are removing or destructing the egg masses or larval masses, pupae masses, pupa or some or the next stage of the larva. Then from pupa you find insects to be emerging, or adult insects to be emerging. So by hand you have to destruct the egg masses or the larva, pupa and adult of certain insect pests, or sometimes the disease spots of the plants. If it is microbial infection, then you have to cut and remove the disease spots of the plant wherever it is possible. Installation of the bamboo gauge come bird preachers in the field and placing parasitized egg masses inside them for conservation of the natural enemies and withholding of the pest species wherever possible. So, if we install certain bamboo cages along with certain bird preachers in the field, birds love to feed on the insects as well as pupa and larval stage of the parasite. And also, we place certain parasitized egg masses inside them for conservation of those natural enemies because those natural enemies first feed on the parasitized egg masses. Then, whenever the larva and pupa, or even the adults of the same insects, these natural enemies multiply initially, and then they will start doing the predatory action against the insect pests. And regulatory practices. So in this process, certain rules will be framed by government. The government are brought into force under which the seeds and then infested plant materials are not allowed to enter the country, or it is not allowed to move from one part to the other part of the country. So these are known as quarantine methods, as if we find it in during the COVID times. People, infected people, are isolated and then quarantined, isn't it? So similarly, the plant material as well as the infected seeds are not allowed to move from one part of the country to other part, or even between the countries. They are prohibited through certain regulatory framework designed by government. So both domestic quarantine and foreign quarantine types are available. So through regulatory practice, we can still control the agricultural pest. And the biological practice, this is most important. Biological control of insect pests and diseases through biological means is the most important component of the integrated pest management. So, in broader sense, biocontrol, as it is defined earlier, that it is the use of actual living microorganism to control unwanted microorganisms or even the insects. In simple terms, we are using living organism to control the pest, unwanted pest. So, people sometimes deliberately use parasitoids, predators, and pathogens to maintain the pest population at the subnormal level. That is a limit that is below that. We won't find certain serious damage or serious um, infection to the crops, causing economic loss. So, parasitoids are certain parasitic organisms that can live in the womb, that is, that can live in the ovaries of the pest, and then they may try to eat the eggs of the pest. So, as a result, the generations of the parasite will be denied. New generations of the pest may not arise when you use parasitoids. And if you use certain parasites or pathogens to such agricultural pest population, still we can maintain the pathogen. Subnormal levels of the actual pest that is causing economic loss. So we won't have the serious economic loss because the pest is at a subnormal level. Use of chemical pesticides. So this is the chemical practice where people use chemical pesticide as like a drug of last resort. So the last attempt to manage, if suppose the pest is not controlled by biological means, regulatory means, mechanical means, or even through cultural practices, the last resort or last method that we have in our hand to control the pest is the chemical practice, where chemical pesticides are the last resorts that will be used to maintain the pest population at the below normal levels, so as to prevent the economic losses. So there are great advantages in the pest management research that uses the chemical pesticides. Therefore, the use of pesticide should be need based, judicious, which means if the particular pesticide is banned in a particular country, we should not use it. Okay, that's what is the meaning of judicious. So, and also it is need based. If suppose there is a emergent need and the multiplication of the pest is more, or reproduction of the pest is high, then we have to use this kind of chemical pesticides to control it, and we have to use it as per the judiciary norms of the country. and based on the pest surveillance data, we can still go for attempting the chemical pesticides to control the pest or to maintain the pest population below the subnormal level. However, we have to place certain norms, and we have to maintain uh, uh, we have to use it based on the need and judiciary framework, without surpassing the judiciary framework, and also the total pest that is available in that particular region, so as to minimize the total cost of the chemical pesticide under use, as well as its related economic crisis, which should not arise just because of the use of the chemical pesticide.